As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay.
Good Tuesday evening, all my beauties. Come on in. Well, hello, my beautiful peoples. I hope everybody is doing well. Yes, I am overflowed with scrumptious food. I don't know where you think I'm putting all this food, by the way. But it was very, very, very good. I haven't even gotten to the soup. Thank you, oven baby. Thank you. Keeping Betty full. Thank you. Delicious. I gotta tell you, these are some of the best shrimp quesadillas I think I have ever had. Delicious. So I hope everybody's doing well. It's Tuesday. Oh, sorry. I have been running all day. I am just getting back from the meeting. I got showered, got everything ready, and now we're going to be getting started here in just a little bit. I hope everybody has had a great time so far today. I don't know what all you guys have done. I'm trying to figure out where the heck I'm going to put this thing. I have been at meetings, and I left around noon, but that was only for the lunch break, and then of course we had to get in, take break and then go back. But I called back in the second time, and I didn't like it. I don't like it when you got to call back in, because when you call back in, they like to play some type of games. You know what I'm saying? They like to act like they forget they're supposed to call for public comments and stuff like that. So we're not going there. So I'm gonna go up here and say hi. Oh, I see Let Them 66. All my prayer angels are up in the chat. So hello, Melanie, Eeyore, it's nice to see you. Laura, good evening. Our beautiful Eeyore, thank you. Showing some love. Oh, look at that. Thank you so much. And Melanie is saying good evening, Betty, Delilah, mods, and chat. I hope everyone has a good day so far. Much love to you, BHB. Please do not forget to hit that thumbs up button for BHB. Woo, woo, woo! Thank you. Football mom, Deanna, it's nice to see you. Tina, good evening. Groovy gal. Emma, it's nice to see you. Sasha. Sasha, I want to discuss the house across from Worship. So that's not tonight. That's not tonight, but save that. We're going to be talking about a lot. I'm not sure exactly what video we're going to be going over next after this one, but there is another one. Why am I sitting low? Hold on a second. Let me fix my face. There we go. Let me fix my face. I'm trying to adjust myself. Maybe I need to go to the right or the left. That's where I was before. I think I kind of liked myself over here. I don't know. I think I kind of like myself. Let me go ahead and move. Sorry, let me just do some configurations here. I ain't liking it. Guys don't have to like me. It's just if I don't like something, I don't like it. What can I say? I gotta fix it. Okay, there. I feel better. We can start again. We can start again. Pebbles, it's nice to see you. Sonia, good evening. It's nice to see you. Oh, thank you. Let them 66. Lots of love, prayers to all that needs them. Hugs. Yes, part of our prayer warrior group. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Who else do we have up in the chat? I think I said hi to Melanie, Pebbles, and Laura. We got show poodles. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. WBHB, prayers to Sebastian and Seth. Thank you. So very nice. Sonia, Pebbles, Peggy, it's nice to see you. Who else do we have? Deanna, Sasha. I think I said hot. Oh, hot damn. It's nice to see you, love. Nanny of 8. It's nice to see you. Good evening. Robin, it's nice to see you. Oven Baby, we're going to call you Oven Baby. It's just easier for me to remember. Carmary, it's nice to see you. Medic Biker. Happy Cappy, Kim, Pat. Log, we're going to call you Log. Karen, it's nice to see you. It looked like Monica, it's nice to see you. Good evening. Oh, wow, it popped way up on me. Hold on, I'm way off. Where were we? We were on Let Them 66, right? Oh, lots of prayers. I didn't put you up. And then we were at Show Poodles. Okay, that's where we were. Sorry, I don't know where I went. It just fell down on me. Okay, there's Sasha. Hot damn. Got it. I said hi to all of you. Okay, I was right. Okay, sorry about that. And there's Kim. Oh, my goodness. Thank you. Thank you for all you do. Actually, you probably did a big one. Hold on. Let's give you a big one. There. Thank you, Kim. Bless you. Appreciate it. I'm getting fed. All this scrumptious food. You guys are, because I'm a love machine. Ow! And yeah, Sasha, we will get to it. We're just, it's just not going to be tonight. We can talk, our conversation might, hey, Betty fan, Cheyenne, it's nice to see you. I think I got everybody. If I missed you, Sharon, if I missed you, when I see you guys in the chat, I'll say hi. Sandy, I think I got everybody. But I may not have. I'm an imperfect person, folks. I'm an imperfect person, and I'm exhausted. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Miss Sonia. She says, showing some love for our coffee club. Oh, thank you. YouTube crash. I just got an interruption. Well, I am sorry. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. Apparently, I only know of Justin because I watch him. But apparently, some people have been saying that there have been some widespread problems, to say the least. Sorry, guys, I'm thirsty because I've been in a meeting all day. So excuse me for being rude. All right, guys, we're going to kind of just jump right into this because yesterday we went through my very first live on the case. And my very first live, we went over some of our first impressions of the case, which wasn't really a lot. A lot of the stuff that we were hearing back at the beginning of the case when we got involved in it was in reality, it was more emotional, right? We weren't really hearing a whole lot of concrete stuff. We didn't have a whole lot of receipts. We had a whole lot of emotion, suspicion, theories and stuff like that, but really not a whole lot. I think what's changed since the very first video where we're assessing, we noticed that how Katie had answered some questions about Sebastian, which led us to believe early on that he may have had problems, going to bed. And this was when we were very, very ignorant about autism. I know it's hard because we've been talking about autism and we've been learning so much, still to this day, learn so much new stuff because of Sebastian that many of us didn't know. I can tell you, I was by far, I had heard of autism before Sebastian's case. Like many of you, if you don't already have children that are autistic or never been around autistic, you're probably about as ignorant as I was in autism. And I gotta say, it is very, very complicated stuff, okay? To say the least, it is complicated because when they talk about a spectrum, I am not lying. It is a spectrum. Like somebody can have autism and not even be verbal. Somebody can have autism and be just the smartest person. You wouldn't even know that they have it, right? And then you had Sebastian, which was not even in the middle. He was further on the high functioning autism. So he had some behavioral, or I wouldn't say behavioral issues. He had some perspective issues, right? I think that would be better defined as perspective issues. Like he didn't understand boundaries or personal space or, certain cues. In life, we all kind of get cues, like when somebody looks at you. You can see if they have a smile on their face and they're welcoming, or whether they're like, oh crap, it's this one again, right? So, people pick up on that. They get vibes, right? So he is a person that doesn't get those same vibes that we, normally would get. So, other than that, he seemed like a very normal functioning boy. I don't know from his appearance whether you would ever know anything was wrong with him. But long story short, there were some things that were going on behind the scenes that at this time we didn't know that were happening. For example, we learned much later on Sebastian was, the Proudfoots wanted Sebastian out of their home. Chris was very concerned about Sebastian being around Faith. So it seems like it was a very wholesome and wholly toxic environment inside their home. And with Katie having the history that she has, and we know that she would most likely have some problems because of her history, it, makes us wonder how much pressure she could theoretically take before she snapped. We have to take into consideration she is a military woman, so she's been through boot camp and other things, so she was pushed, she's been pushed a lot, but she was also much younger, right? And she wasn't under the pressure of, a house, a disabled child, a husband that's leaving her, her potentially looking at being foreclosed on the house if Chris takes off. I think that this was a lot more pressure than many people acknowledge was going on inside that house. Again, hindsight being what it is and all. But we're still just looking at the perspective of how did we handle this case early on. And guys, if you're just coming in, if you guys could do me a favor, excuse me, my allergies are acting up, the wind's blowing and everything like that, and I just took a hot shower, so as you can imagine, my sinuses are a little active. Actually, you know what, let me just take the camera off and let me just take care of this right quick. Hold on a second. I don't know how, news people deal with, like, oh, Sheila, well, thank you. Oh, that's so sweet. I love the fox. Thank you, Fox. Thank you. I appreciate, because I'm a love machine. Ow! Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I got to get into our words and find out what I put in here that makes all these things get approval. Hey, Reba. Hey, JH. Hola. Hola. Aloha. Apparently, I think we're still talking about poor little Emmanuel Haro. Jewel, Unicorn, I don't know if I said hi to you guys. Sharon, I don't know if I said hi to you, but good evening. It's nice to see you. If I forgot to say hi to you guys as you were coming in, hey, it's nice to see you. So anyways, long story longer, we've got some questions on whatever happened to Sebastian. His mother being, oh, thank you, Sheila Betty, you're the best. Aw, big hugs and love. Thank you. Heart. That's sweet. That's sweet. I appreciate you. I appreciate you all. You guys made my day. It's not even about this. It's just the love you guys show each other every, when we're in here. You guys are like a little family. Sometimes I go back and I play this show because I don't get to read the comments and stuff. And you guys gossip a lot. I'm not gonna lie, but I like to creep a little bit and find out what's going on. I mean, I feel like I'm at the salon. Some of these evenings. When I go back and I look at it, I'm like, oh, did you hear that? Did you hear about the neighbor? Did you hear about the neighbor down the road? And MJ's like, what did I miss? What did I miss? I love it. I love it. You guys are great. You guys are great. You guys are sweet. So anyways, getting back to it, there was a lot of things, much like, actually kind of funny how I said hola, because I was talking, I didn't mean to, I meant to say aloha, but it brings us back to Emmanuel Haro, like even the mom, Rachel Haro, the black eye, you guys were like on it. You guys knew. And even when we started running this case, you guys were already telling me that the mom and the stepfather are awfully sus. Look at them. And I'm like, I'll progress as I go through this, because I do things very methodically. I have checklists and stuff like that to pull this, to pull that. Look at this, look at that, to make sure I'm uniform and I don't miss anything, right? I love checkboxes. Who likes checkboxes? Who likes checkboxes? I love checkboxes. I love a little form. You make a little form and you just go down, check. At the salon is where you hear the gossip. I'm telling you, that's why I said, I feel like when I go back and read some of these eyebrow. Now I got to tell you, some of the stuff that goes on in these chats has nothing to do with true crime. I know it might shock you a little bit, but we hear all kinds of stuff. Now, I don't know how many other you guys have been paying attention, but when you walk into a little bit of these conversations, you're like, huh? Maybe I need to step right on back out, and then I'll start talking about Sebastian again. I'll read something. I'm like, I don't think I was supposed to read that out loud, All right, so if you're unfamiliar about the Sebastian Rogers case, Sebastian, he was 15 years old when he disappeared. He just had his 17th birthday on December 7th, and it's very, very heartbreaking because he's not here. He's not here with his father, and I'm going to continue to refer to him and his father because his mom doesn't matter to me outside of I want to see her in jail. The stepfather doesn't matter to me other than I want to see him in jail. So when I refer to Sebastian or his family, I'm referring to his dad. Okay, that's the only family that I think is family, because from the onset of this case, Chris and Katie have both disrespected this young man in his absence. And then you add the buffoonery from his mom and stepfather, and you got a real hot mess express. So they are not family. They are POSs, okay? POSs, SOBs. I got a litany of these little, whatever you call them when you use the words, letters. Yeah, that. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, come on now. That ain't even bullshit. That's horseshit.
That's what I was saying, because I don't like them. Okay, now that I got that out of the way, we can move on. So let's go ahead and get this on up. That was the one we did. That was video number 1, but we're not going to do that. And we did run this one yesterday, but this is where we progress. We did video 1, And I think I did some short little videos that I may have cut in. Oh, Shining Star, thank you. Love it, love it, love it. Saying, love you, Betty. We love you too. Shining Star, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. So I want you guys to hear this because this is when we learn that they took off. They took off. Their son is missing. People have questions. And the mom and stepfather took off and ran out of state. I have to be honest with you. That was a first for me. I was thoroughly shocked. And it was hard. It was really, really, really hard not to suspect them after they ran away from their own son. And it wasn't until like a year later that we realized she threw a blanket and some food out, which almost added insult to injuries because it was like she thought she lost her dog, okay? It's her freaking son. Okay, we saw something, Andrew. We saw. I feel much better. I feel much better.
I heard the Proudfoots got in their RV and they left
What the
their home.
I was about to
The
say, what
search for
happened?
Sebastian Rogers out there in Hendersonville, Tennessee, is still underway while we saw the Proudfoots sitting and having dinner and not helping whatsoever. The father of Sebastian Rogers, Seth Rogers, has left work and has been off for days searching for the whereabouts of his son with no help from the Proudfoot family. Now, I don't know if this information has been corroborated, but I have several people that have boots on the ground right now out there in Hendersonville, and one of them told me they heard from a local that these parents got into their car and left. One of my friends on YouTube told me that Chris specifically reached out to him to find out who took this picture or who sent this picture to him. And I have to say, he's getting awfully concerned. Makes me wonder why they're not helping search, why it's possible that they may have left the area while everyone else is doing their work. We wanted to bring this family in and show them love and support and give them the resources necessary to bring their son home. And this is how they have been acting. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Bullhorn Betty channel here on TikTok, but also see me on other social media platforms as well. Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter.
God bless, folks. Okay. So this is more in line with the next, hold on, let me get past this. The next,
disappeared. She was 13 years old that disappeared on the same day Sebastian Rogers disappeared.
Morning update. Where's Sebastian? Am I talking about that or am I talking about... Okay, I can't tell what I'm talking about here. It seems like that's Madeline Soto, not... we'll just roll through it. This is the next video that we did, the next lengthy video, and I can tell by the way it looks, I did it on TikTok. So, this must have been a TikTok live. And this was my next one that I did. So we're going to play this
She
one.
was, her mom's boyfriend was arrested 2 days later. His name was Stefan Stearns.
Hello,
or
guys.
some people
Come on
call
in.
him Stefan. I don't know. It's Stefan. That's the way I've always been taught to say that particular spelling of the name, but I don't know. Okay. Anyways, we've all been trying to figure out what's going on with this case. It's kind of really died out because law enforcement's not giving the public any information. No arrests have been made for this young girl's disappearance or untimely demise. And the mom's boyfriend's in jail for having all these photos, images, and videos of this girl that went missing that ended up being found on March 1st. Nobody's been arrested. People are wanting to know if her mother had any knowledge of this. I'm not on the same bandwagon as everybody else. I don't believe she did. But now we're finding out that Stefan Stearns was using an app called Telegram.
Let's not forget, and she did, and she was. I don't want to listen to this. This has nothing to do with Sebastian. We got to be getting to Sebastian at some point. I knew I started. Here we go. Let's talk about that.
In the middle of the searches, there's been a lot of drama surrounding this particular case because the Cajun Navy came in and there was a lot of people out there searching, and all of a sudden the search parties have been dismantled. I was hearing reports that the United Cajun Navy wouldn't even allow searchers to search unless they provided a donation. I don't know how true that is, but I definitely had several friends out there, and
some of that may not have been true that we were hearing about out there, because we got to think of the source where that was coming from at the time. And if you don't know who the source was where that was coming from at the time, hey, Wow TV, it's nice to see you. Then, I don't want to, keep adding insult to injury with stuff going on here, but it was a very frustrating time in the Sebastian Rogers case, and a lot of people were getting their feelings hurt, and some people were stepping on toes, and this already chaotic case got even more crazy. And United Cajun Navy is the one that found the Ryan RJ Davis. So there were some things where I didn't necessarily agree with them at the time. I think my opinion of them has changed because my opinion of the source of information changed. So just to put that into perspective.
They were met with law enforcement, like the United Cajun Navy was calling law enforcement on them. They were running off volunteers. They were breaking apart a great search effort for Sebastian Rogers, and nobody could really understand why. And so after, these are well-to-do, well-known, like YouTubers and stuff like that are known for going out and searching for people and stuff like that. And then we hear from one of the divers over at Riley Strain's case about how they were recorded as part of this United Cajun Navy, and he wasn't even associated. He was actually a YouTuber that takes his time and goes out there and goes scuba diving for missing people in lakes and ponds. That's what his whole platform is about. And the Cajun Navy and News Nation hijacked that and made it look like it was the United Cajun Navy when he was no association with the United Cajun Navy. Those people out there in that water with those boats.
Narked Diver. How we forgot about that. I forgot all about that. Narked Diver. I remember that now. I mean, it doesn't really have anything to do with the Sebastian case. It was more of, somebody not being very truthful with media. And it rubbed a content creator the wrong way. I forgot about that. Narked Diver, he was out there at Riley Strain, and he had the boat, and, he was assisting, or what he thought was helping, the United Cajun Navy, and they were using him and his boat as their boat, and putting it in the news clip. And he's like, I was out there searching all day. That's my boat. I'm not with the United Cajun Navy. It was Narked Diver. I forgot about that. But again, it doesn't have anything to do with the case. It's a distraction. I hopefully we get through it fairly quickly, but I don't know.
Had no association with the United Cajun Navy. So now we're starting to see all this unraveling about this United Cajun Navy. And then I go and find information online of the real United Cajun Navy that was formed in 2016 on the backs of Katrina, not this United Cajun Navy, which told Nancy Grace that they were formed during Katrina to help find missing people. Well, the United Cajun Navy that's on the grounds wasn't even formed until 2018, and they have been riddled with lawsuits, and
I forgot about that. We did do our due diligence in that United Cajun Navy. Because when we looked it up, they were pretty much, and I don't want to dog them because, again, my perspective related to them has changed. But at the time, we did look at it, and they were being deceptive, and I think it was because people were asking them a lot of questions. The people that were in place weren't probably very skilled in answering, in a high pressured situation. I think that has changed. You saw a lot of arrogance coming out of the leadership that was there on the ground, especially at press conferences and always wanting to chime in, that kind of thing. You guys understand. So I didn't know how to take them, but it really was true. They weren't being very truthful. Their organization was formed in 2018. I remember looking that up. I remember reaching out specifically to the United Cajun Navy 2016, and what they said is these are legitimate nonprofits. It's just that they pretty much stole the name, Cajun Navy, and they all changed their nonprofits to something else, like Cajun, United Cajun Navy, or Cajun Navy USA, or, something like that. But let's see if we can get past that whole Cajun Navy situation, because to be honest with you, I really don't care, and it doesn't have anything specifically to do with Sebastian's case. Oh, that's probably when I was sick. There we go. Yeah, that was me. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Sorry.
To the afternoon, the TBI sent out another tweet at 4:35 p.m. asking residents living in the area around Beach High School along Long Hollow Pike to check their outbuildings, garages, cars, and cars in case Sebastian was using any of them as a hiding place. I can't recall off the top of my head when the last search like this was, Chief Deputy Eric Craddock with the Sumner County Sheriff told News 2. Obviously, this one is exponentially more important, being a child who does have autism. The search teams covered nearly 5-mile radius in the Beach and Shackle Island area. The search for Sebastian continues Tuesday, February 27th, with TBI upgrading the alert to an Amber Alert around 3:25 p.m. Officials said the decision to upgrade the alert was based on additional investigative information developed during the search. So they're saying that there was something developed during the search that went from an endangered child to an Amber Alert. The agent.
Ooh. Let's go back to that real quick. Hold on. What did I say? What did I say? Hold on. Pump the brakes, sister. Why does it do that? Pump the brakes, sister. Hold on. I heard something. What did I just hear?
Investigative information developed during
what was that? What developed?
Island area. The search for Sebastian continues Tuesday, February 27th, with TBI upgrading the alert to an Amber Alert around 3:25 p.m. Officials said the decision to upgrade the alert was based on additional investigative information developed during the...
So it was not. OMG. So it was not because he was autistic. They issued the Amber Alert because additional information developed. Now that is something we forgot, okay? It's not that we didn't hear it. You just heard me read it, okay? It's something we forgot, folks. So let's listen to that again. We have a lot of questions about the Amber Alert.
Beach and Shackle Island area. The search for Sebastian continues Tuesday, February 27th, with TBI upgrading the alert to an Amber Alert around 3:25 p.m. Officials said the decision to upgrade the alert was based on additional investigative information.
Additional investigative information, folks. Okay. What is an Amber Alert? Can somebody tell me why we have an Amber Alert? I'll let I'll play some funny music if you want me to. We got some. I can do Purge. I can do my Danger. Oh, I like Danger. I can do that. I'll keep doing it until you guys start responding. I'm just saying. Not playing. I never forget. I've been saying for 20 months. Amber Alert equals abduction. And then, of course, when you do that, you spelt it wrong. You hit the N instead of the B. Dad burn it. But yep, there it is. There it is. So now that we know that the Amber Alert is associated with abduction, let's go back and listen to this statement. Now remember, I'm reading this statement from either TBI or Sumner County. I don't know which. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure. You caught me off guard. It's later in the evening. We expect you guys to be slow. Heck, I'm slow. My brain is moving at a snail's pace. I'm so blessed tired. I've been up since like 4 o'clock because my first show with you guys was at 6 o'clock, even though none of you guys showed up because you were too busy staying in bed and trying to stay warm. That's why. And you know it. You know it. You heard that alarm clock go off and you're like, I ain't getting up. We're going to act like we slept through. We're going to act like we slept through this alarm clock. She'll never know. She'll never, ever, ever know. No, I'm just joking. I have been up since like 4 o'clock this morning. So as you guys can imagine, at 7 o'clock my time, it's been already a 15-hour day and we haven't even gotten into the show yet. So I'm just saying, we got some people laughing in here because they know they're guilty. They guilty of the I decided to stay in bed and stay warm crime. Yep, I wanted to stay in bed and stay warm. You know what? I'm glad I didn't. Oh my gosh. Guys, a friend showed up at the meeting today. I haven't seen my friend in forever. It was great seeing her. I almost squealed in the middle of the frickin' BOCC meeting. I swear to you, I almost squealed. I almost couldn't contain myself. I thought I'd never see, because we know how your friends move out of town and you speak to them after they move so far away from you. All you really do is, chat with them by text message, maybe a call here and there, but you don't see them, she's obviously know her from political stuff. So, when I go to the meeting, I always expect her to, there. And so she's not around anymore. So I just assumed, I've been texting with and stuff like that, but I just assumed I'd never see her again. And at least not around here, And all of a sudden I get this tap on my shoulder in the meeting and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I thought I would never ever see you again, especially in this blessed building. Like, what the hell are you doing here, lady? So, but it was so great. It was so great. I loved it. So anyways, getting back to this. So we were hearing some, who did this? What did somebody just do? I missed it. Oh, Grave Crime with Grace, because I'm a love machine. Ow! Grave Crime with Grace gifted 5 Bullhorn Betty membership. Periwinkle Moon, Laura, Cinderelli, Megan, it's nice to see you, and Tony May. Welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket and your padded room and welcome aboard. It's going to be a crazy ride. It's going to be crazy. So that's interesting. So, we were always told, or at least acknowledged, or the rumor spread. Oh, we got another one. Look who it is. Pammy Bear. Big hugs and loves. Good evening, guys, because I'm a love machine. Ow! And we got 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships gifted. We got Yolanda. It's nice to see you. Nana Joy. It's nice. Shining Star. Oh, look at that. Look at that, Vicky and Sharon. Well, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome aboard, y'all. Welcome aboard. It's nice to see you. Hey, Alita, it's nice to see you, love. I hope you're doing well, Vicky. Good evening, Crave Crime with Grace. It's nice to see you, love. Oh, we got a German Shepherd mom. Hello, it's nice to see you. Welcome, welcome. So now we're learning. We forgot that. It wasn't because he was autistic or just a precaution. It was based upon something that a piece of evidence. That's what it sounds like. Something led them to believe that this child did not simply wander off on his own. This, to me, is huge.
Search for Sebastian continues Tuesday. Deputy Eric Craddock with the Sumner County Sheriff told News 2. Obviously, this one is exponentially more important, being a child who does have autism.
Okay.
The search teams covered nearly 5-mile radius in the Beach and Shackle Island area. The search for Sebastian continues Tuesday, February 27th, with TBI upgrading the alert to an Amber Alert around 3:25 p.m. Officials said the decision to upgrade the alert was based on additional investigative information developed during the search.
Additional information developed during the search, guys. They did not give him an Amber Alert simply because he was an autistic boy, which is what many talking heads have said since the beginning. Why? Because we forgot about this tidbit of information. They upgraded it the very next day on February 27th because of investigative information leading them to believe that they needed an Amber Alert. Oh, here's my drop music. Was that dramatic? I need to stop. Was that dramatic enough for you? Was that dramatic enough for you? I mean, holy smokes, we've been having this question. The reason why I'm saying is because even early on in the investigation, we still forgot this. Was it the video with the flashlight behind his house? No. Maybe. No, because they've been screaming from the very beginning that light, those lights those lights don't, and you know what? They wouldn't have known about those lights. It was the very next day. We didn't learn about those lights until later, like a week later, I thought. Maybe I could be wrong. I don't know. It's a good question. But they definitely had to have seen something or found or located something in their investigation in less than 24 hours that had them decide to do this Amber Alert. Because we know it's hard. Not everybody gets on an Amber Alert. Okay? Melody Buzzard didn't get on an Amber Alert. Jaden Spicer didn't get on an Amber Alert. Ryan RJ Davis didn't get on an Amber Alert. There are a lot of stringent requirements for an Amber Alert. People always say autistic kids elope. It's like not a common thing with all. And I know that. But see, this is where I have a problem with. I agree with that right there. I agree with that statement. Because you know what happens is we have parents. And this is what I had a problem with in this case. Especially after Seth came out and started really teaching us and telling, because Chris and Katie weren't telling us about Sebastian. I mean, you talked to Chris and Katie, it sounded like he had an infant living inside of him, just an incapable kid. And then you talk to his father and he's like, he goes fishing with me. He goes to the shooting range with me. And I'm thinking, if the kid can shoot a firearm at a gun range, certainly he's not this infant that his parents are painting him. So it started making me realize that Sebastian wasn't like a non-functioning or non-verbal autistic child. He was very much a functioning. He knew he could get turn by turn to his father's house. That's a long way. That's like an hour and a half from his house. And he could guide somebody all the way to his dad's house. That's not a kid that doesn't know how to board a bus. And this is another thing when they were talking about the bus, and I don't know, he's never done it before. What are you talking about? They talk about a bus coming into that community all the time. Doesn't she say, doesn't he go on a bus to get to school? Or does she drive him to school? I thought a bus picked him up. So what does she mean he wouldn't know how to get on a bus? But, I digress. Let's just get back to it. Let's get to it.
So they're saying that there was something developed during the search that went from an endangered child to an Amber Alert.
So we forgot about that because we discussed it right here.
The agency of the search was already increasing as colder temperatures were expected to move into the area, and authorities were unsure whether or not Sebastian was properly dressed for the weather. Dozens of agencies continued searching and began employing tactics suggested by community members, such as playing Sebastian's favorite song, Eye of the Tiger. A potential sighting was reported on Newsman's Trail,
And this is another thing, again, like the Eye of the Tiger. I mean, where was Katie and Chris's voice? Why did they tell him there's no way, when they thought he was in the water, why did they immediately say, look, our son knows how to swim. He's not going to be drowned in some lake or river, Why did they let them go in? I mean, law enforcement's going to check anyways, but at least give them that information so when they go, they can say, although statistics show us, tell us that most autistic children wander to water, the parents let us know that, he didn't wander to water, but we went ahead on a precautionary measure and decided to check the water, the rivers and streams anyways. You see what I'm saying? But they didn't try to stop them. They didn't tell them about their son. They weren't, when law enforcement was going to the camera, he was describing generalities of some cases of autistic children. He definitely was not speaking about Sebastian specifically, because he should have had more information on Sebastian specifically to know that these things may or may not work. But to spend so much time on the waterways, knowing he would not be in the waterways, in my opinion, was a wasted time. I mean, yeah, you're going to have to check him anyways. You have to turn over every stone, but they haven't turned over every stone, right? They won't even let the U.S. Marshals get involved. All they have to do is provide one single signature on a piece of paper, and boom, we've got U.S. Marshals involved, and they won't put the signature, the John Hancock, on this one piece of paper. And of course, the U.S. Marshals are designed to hunt people, right? And find people. Why is Sumner County obstructing their own investigation? I think that needs to be the biggest question we ask. And I will ask them when I'm in front of their office, February 23rd through the 27th.
But officials confirmed it was not Sebastian. By February 27th, searchers had covered more than 2,000 miles on foot and went through Sebastian's home multiple times. A press conference, authorities continued to urge residents to check their surveillance cameras and report any information. There was a surveillance video that was found that showed two specks of light glimmering in this back path behind their house. And people believe those were flashlights and people moving, while other people are saying they can't tell. I don't know if somebody didn't circle it and say that that's a person with a flashlight. I don't know if I would have derived that from that video.
So there you go. So there's my very first assessments of that video. Okay, just to let you know, there's my first assessments of the video. If we need to know what I was thinking about the video when it was released, well, my very first assessment, there it is. If Nick Barris had not circled those flashlights and described them as flashlights going through the common area, would I have known that those were flashlights going through the common area? And the answer is, at this moment, I did not believe that to be true.
But I don't know what happened. We know that there was suspicious stuff going on and probably had to be going on. We do have a young boy missing, right? And there was this weird phenomenon going on behind his house in the early morning hours, around 3 a.m. So, I mean, you know, we use our common sense, and our common sense says that there most likely was somebody back there, but we are not sure. We're assuming that. We have no factual information supporting that. We have a video with 2 little specks of light on it. That's, I mean, if you really want to look at it like that, that's basically what we have.
So again, for all the people that have just heard terrible things about my investigative work and investigative skills, it seems like I'm not putting fingers or pointing the fingers at anybody at this juncture. I'm trying to get as much facts and information in to put it, you know, in order to find out what it leads, what picture does it paint, right? Without knowing what Occam's razor is, applying Occam's razor, right? That's what we basically have been doing for years, just didn't know what the terminology is. It's looking at a whole bunch of facts and taking those facts and looking at them with the least assumptions, it being the most, you know, reasonable answer. And we've been doing that for years. We just never knew what it was. So it's nice to put a name to it, right? But we have to look at this. And at the time, you know, we had a video coming out that appeared to have lights moving around. We have to acknowledge that a child did go disappear at this time. Would it be so surprising that there were people moving around at the time he went missing? Of course not. But if we were to say that those were not truly flashlights, which law enforcement has been begging us to believe, which it's still very hard for me to believe. I'm going to have to run additional work on that. When we get back to that spot, we're going to do that additional work together. And try to see, is it possible that these are not flashlights? If we determine that they're flashlights again, I don't know if anything law enforcement tells us without them blowing up the damn shit and showing us, you know, frame by frame how it's not. I don't think I'm going to believe them. But if we do it again, and it is showing, you know, some of the stuff that they're implying that it's from something reflecting off of something from the other road that's not even connected to the neighborhood. If we ultimately determine that, then, you know, okay. But we have to look at it both ways until we determine one way or another whether it holds water, because I haven't run the test again. I haven't realigned the lights. I haven't looked at the photos and videos I took while I was out there and overlaid them with the lights video. We did do that once upon a time, and it shows it right through their yard into this unknown vehicle that's on that corner. I have always believed that vehicle was an SUV. Mob Crew believes it's a sedan. So that's how I feel about it. I guess we'll never know until this case is eventually solved. Law enforcement has never acknowledged that car, has never acknowledged speaking to people in that car, and has told us that the lights that appeared to be going to that car weren't actually flashlights. They were, you know, reflections. So it's very hard for me to believe it, as many of you guys can imagine. But either way, if we had to remove those lights out of our theories, if they really don't hold water, what is the most logical explanation? Obviously, a boy is missing and nobody left the house that night. But Katie did leave the house that morning. And not only did she leave, she tried not to tell the public she left her house at all, which I always question. Why would anybody be so devious or dubious to omit that they left the house to go look for their child, right? What we heard from her is that morning she woke up. They wake up at 6. That's well known. She went from her room into Sebastian's room, and when she went to wake him up, he was not there. She proceeds to, now this is where it gets a little hairy, because Chris has said she looked around the house in several places. Katie has said in multiple interviews, she looked around the house for about 3 minutes. In other interviews, she looked around the house about a minute. And so we don't know how long she looked around the house, but according to all of their statements, no matter what that time was, is that she immediately called Chris. He said, well, look here and look there. And then he immediately called law enforcement, because that's what parents do when their child is missing. And that was almost verbatim what Chris had said. I immediately called law enforcement. It wasn't until later that we realized that wasn't true. He called Seth. And then 13 minutes after he called Seth at 6:20, almost 20 minutes after she realized Sebastian wasn't home, they waited another 13 minutes from the time they texted and called Seth to the time that they actually called the non-emergency line of Sumner County, because they wanted to report their child as a what? Runaway. Okay? Typically, when you report your child as a runaway, they give you a piece of paper and tell you to call them if the child comes home. That's about it. So that's, in my opinion, that's what they were expecting. They were expecting to tell law enforcement that their child was missing because he left the house and ran away from home, i.e., he walked out the front door, right? But I think because of who they were in the community and the fact that their child was disabled, I think they went ahead and proceeded as this being an all hands on deck situation. They need to find this autistic child. I think when she told them that the child was autistic, that's when the fear set into the law enforcement. I think that's why they amped up the search for him so quickly. I don't think that they were expecting this, because I think Chris has run away before. I know I've run away before, and there was no huge search party for me, right? My mom was handed a package of stuff and says, well, we've got a bolo out for her. If she comes home, please let us know. And that was it. Okay, no search party, no drone, no helicopters, no dog search, no ATV search, no horsey search, no search. Okay, no search. So I'm confident that they did not expect what they, ultimately happened.
And we're saying that those specks of lights are flashlights, but you can't see the flashlights in this video. So we could be wildly wrong.
True.
We could be wildly wrong. But on Wednesday, February 28, TBI put out a statement. Officials continue looking for the missing teen.
Ooh, that's interesting. So girl mom says she listened to the 911 calls again. And there was a car on fire that day. That's a problem because, I wonder where that car was, because there was, what car, what was that? I can't remember what I was watching. Maybe it was the Celeste stuff. Like, they were ready to come pack that car. And had the flies and the scent not happened, it would have sat there for even longer without anybody knowing about it until it was ultimately squished. I'm pretty sure they said it was a BMW. Who the hell would burn a BMW? Except a rich family member. I wonder who that came back to. Can you pull public records and find out whatever happened to that car? That's interesting. That's interesting. Hey, Steffers, it's nice to see ya. I'm interested in that. Because we had 2 fires that were really close in proximity to this case. because if there really was a BMW on fire, maybe it was just an electrical problem. Maybe the owner was with the car and maybe it wasn't. But if it was intentionally set on fire or deemed like an arson, that might be something. It really might be. But we also might find out that it was an electrical problem and somebody was driving down and overheated. Next thing you know, I've seen it. I don't know how many of you guys have seen it, but I've definitely seen where a car has caught on fire going down the interstate. But I've been all over this country. But you know what? To be honest with you, when I saw that, it was here in the state of Florida, and I don't think I was running out of the country. I think that was when I was going back and forth to St. Pete because I was working my insurance business at the time. So it seems they couldn't find the owner. Ooh. Yeah, that's the stuff I'm looking for. That, those types of things. People don't think to look at those types of things, but I look at like a lot of weird stuff. And when you start having like arson car burns, usually those cars are used in robberies and murders and a whole bunch of stuff. So whenever I see a car on fire, or it's an insurance claim, somebody trying to they don't want to pay the car anymore. And so they got good insurance. So they set it ablaze for them to pay off the car, the loan on the car, and they're out from under the car, So there's a lot of different reasons why somebody would set a particular car on fire. But with it being so close in conjunction, we can't look past something like that because that's definitely interesting. It may not be coincidental, but you never know. I mean, it might be not just coincidental, but it might be a nugget that, a car that's, just usually when people burn cars, it's to cover evidence, So, yeah, I would do some record requests, and that's definitely interesting. That's definitely up the right alley. That's good thinking out of the box.
Amid rain and
40... And at 3 a.m., the car goes in the... Yes, that is true. Because, I do trust... because Chris is a lot more analytical than me with all the angles and stuff like that. Like, I've seen his work, and I think, when I look at it, I'm like, this guy's pretty smart. He's got a good head on his shoulders. And so, I just kind of stuck something in there and seen if it fit, and things did line up, which is crazy. But I do trust his assessment on it, but I still think that there might, if it's not that, I just don't trust Chris's mom. I think she's evil. Like, I think she's super evil. Like, she'll do anything for her son. He must have had a really tough upbringing. He must have. Like, their whole relation, this is just weird. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you that. It's just weird.
Degree temperatures on Wednesday, February 28th. Due to growing public interest, the TBI put out a statement explaining why Sebastian's parents were unable to share more details about the missing teen. Unfortunately, there is an interest in hearing from friends and family to help provide more personal context about Sebastian. However, we have been requested by the family to let local media know that they are not in the position to speak or...
Sorry, I'm eating crackers. I don't know why I'm eating crackers, but I am eating crackers. Makes your mouth very dry when you're online. It's probably not the best thing to eat when you're running a show. I'm so sorry about that. But, yeah, I saw Oven Baby's comments here, and I had my mom's old Monte Carlo. It started on fire on the highway. Not fun. Like I said, it's not fun. It's truly, truly not fun. I haven't had it happen to me. Hey, YouTuber, it's nice to see you. I haven't had it happen to me, but I have been driving down where I'm like, that car is about to catch on fire. And soon as I say it, and we drive by and you can see a flame up under the hood, like you just know. So I've seen it before. I've also seen, being so close to the interstate, because when I had my house out there in Manatee Palms, my neighbor's yard across the street of my cul-de-sac, their backyard lined up with the interstate. That's how close I was to the interstate. So you would always see fires going on from cars you wouldn't know. You would be able to tell just by the color of the smoke, billowing up that, a car's on fire, right? You can smell it too, because It's a different kind of fire. It's very, very, you smell all the wires burning. That's how you can almost tell. The scent of the fire tells you that it's a car burning. Like the car burning has a very potent scent.
To speak or be available to the media at this time. We have told them that while we rely on their message, it would be the decision of the individual media outlets and the reporter to proceed as they see fit. So isn't that awfully funny? The Proudfoots actually reached out to TBI to let them know that they were unable to speak about the individual information about.
They didn't want to be interviewed. 2 parents that are missing their children, minutes and seconds. It's now days. We're at what day is this? What day is this? This is March 27th. So over 4 weeks. 4 weeks this. Hey, Juicy Jules. It's nice to see you, love. So you're talking about 4 blessed weeks. They haven't seen their son. And they're trying to get the sheriff to tell people. They wanted the sheriff to tell people because they thought if they got the sheriff to tell people not to interview him, it would sound official. But what the sheriff did is said, oh, the family asked us to ask you. And it kind of killed the whole, can you ask them not to, they were asking the sheriff to tell the media not to reach out to them. And they were wanting it to come from the sheriff. And the sheriff comes out and says, well, the Proudfoots told us to ask you not to contact them. Oh my God. I'm like... Good gracious. I didn't forget about that, though. I remembered that. I'm just letting you know. I do remember him asking law enforcement to ask us not to ask them for an interview.
About their report. And TBI says, Sebastian's family would like us to tell you that they can't speak for these reasons without saying that they were wanting it to look like TBI has asked them not to speak about the details of this case as opposed. That's the way I'm reading it. Let's read this again and see if that's what you guys get out of it.
That's exactly what we got out of it. Let me read it again, folks. Let me read it again. Hold on. Here we go.
It says, understandably, there is an interest in hearing from friends and family to help provide more of the personal context about Sebastian. However, we have been requested by the family.
Yep.
To let local media know that they are not in the position to speak to or be available to media at this time. Wow.
A month.
So TBI didn't bite on that one.
A month. They haven't had their child in a month, and they are trying to avoid the camera. These are the reasons why this stuff is so telling to us. It is so stinking frustrating, and I think we're going to be reliving this all the way through, the start to the finish again, because the crap that they did, already, this is the second show I've done on this case, right? The second show I've done on this case. And they've already lied about passing the polygraph, and they're trying to act like law enforcement doesn't want them talking to media. And they never said that. This is insane. Absolutely, utterly insane.
Searches for Sebastian hit day 4, and this was on February 29th. In a press conference on Thursday, February 29th, officials said they had received several tips amid calls for people to check their surveillance cameras, but none were confirmed sightings of Sebastian. There was a glimpse of hope that day as search dogs tracked a scent, but it turned out to be a false alert. Investigators also
a false alert.
drained a pond to the east of Sebastian's home and found nothing. So they're saying that Sebastian's parents were on Nancy Grace and saying that was a legit hit, and law enforcement and TBI are saying no, it was a false hit.
So why do they need it to be a legitimate hit? Why are Chris and Katie the only ones saying these dogs hit? We caught it then, and then we forgot about it, and we started picking up the fact that the dogs hit. But it wasn't. Even back at the very beginning of this case, this is the second video we did. We're talking about the dog hit being a false positive. It was never a dog hit for Sebastian. Why were Chris and Katie... maybe I need to proposition this question differently. What would make them want that to be a hit of Sebastian when it wasn't? They try to push the narrative he ran away. That's it. And that false positive would have support. Okay, that would probably... I knew there has to be a reason. Hey, Whitney, it's nice to see you. But that would make sense. So the reason why Girl Mom believes that they wanted the false hit to be Sebastian's is because it helps push the narrative that he ran away. Distraction, Cheryl says. People believe Sebastian walked off, YouTuber says. So yeah, something like that. Okay, well that does. Okay, Ma Dukes, it's nice to see you, by the way. I hope you're doing well. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Yeah. Yeah. So this helps support the narrative. That's why they needed it so bad. I never could quite figure out why they kept going with it. Why did they kept going with it? Why they kept going with it? When law enforcement said, when Seth has said, when all the articles have said, we keep hearing from them. Even Gray Hughes, he did that whole map thing from what Chris said that this dog took for this scent, and it was really interesting because the dog scented right, which is another coincidence, because the dog, the path that the dog took, even though they keep saying it's a false positive of being Sebastian, the path the dog took just so happens to coincide with those reflective lights that were in the common area, which again is like do 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 do, like we're trying to shake it, but every time I try to shake it, more evidence supports that those were freaking flashlights. But whatever, gotta play it both ways because we just don't know.
On March 2nd, the reward information was offered. The search for Sebastian, there was a pledge of a minimum cash reward of $3,000 for any information leading to the whereabouts of Sebastian.
Which would upset me because there were so many people being so nasty to Seth Rogers saying, you don't even have a reward. You don't even have a reward. And I kept saying, where are you guys hearing that? There's a reward out there for information to lead to his whereabouts, a $3,000 reward. Everybody forgot about there was a reward out. Everybody thought that there was no reward out for Sebastian. Literally from day 2 or day 3, he's had a reward to bring him home.
It is my understanding that cash bond is still, our cash reward is still available for any information that produces Sebastian some way, shape, or form. On Sunday, March 3rd, Sebastian's mother and father speak out. They raised it up to $3,500 for the reward. The search is scaled back on a day later on March 4th. March 3rd, guys, is when Chris Proudfoot had all these scratches on his arm. Let me see if I can put this.
Ooh, the scratches.
Hold on, let me put this up. Sorry.
The scratches.
Let me find his arms. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to find his arms because it won't show you any other way. Let me move around. So you see those scratches on his arms?
I don't know what I was...
They look, some people say that they feel like there's teeth mark there. I don't know. I'm not going to I'm not going to speculate. I can clearly see scratches. That's what I'm going to say. There are definitely scratches on his arm. He says these are from Yorkies, but I don't see it. The scratch marks are too far apart, and there seems to be 2, not 4, which is weird. So I don't know. This was the interview he gave on March 3rd right here, and he displayed a lot of scratches on his arms. So that's all I've got to say about that. I don't really have much when it comes to them. I don't know why I had to go by there like there's just some hinky stuff going on. Why isn't this pulling up? Hold on a second.
I don't know. Why isn't it pulling up?
I hate when this stuff does not work out the way I want it to work out. That's okay.
So you guys saw, we know that Chris had scratches up and down his arm within a week of Sebastian's disappearance. That's not a good sign either. So we have a child that's missing. We've got parents that are telling law enforcement they don't want to speak to the public. Their child's been missing for a month. They don't seem overly concerned, and they've already ran away from home. Have I missed anything so far in the first 30 days that their child went missing under their watch? I mean, just me saying that sounds ultra suspicious, does it not? To me, it sounds ultra sus. Let's keep going.
But again, all this drama, it's at his expense. This is the only person that's being, harmed by all of this stuff going on. His mom and stepdad took off in the middle of searches after they told people, search party people, they can't come out. Like, they went public and said that they were told to stay home. That's why they're not out searching. And so if you don't have an hour to go out and search for your kid, how in the world do you have an hour to go out and eat barbecue at a restaurant? You know what I'm saying? You can't go look for your kid, but you have time to sit down and eat. And people are like, well, they got to eat. Well, they could order food into their home because they can't leave their home. That's what law enforcement told them, right? I mean, they can't leave their home to go search for their boy. So naturally, I would assume that they would order their food to their home because they can't leave their home. And if they can't leave their home, I would expect their ass to be out there searching for their son. And they're not out there searching for their son. And when people call them out on their bullshit, you know what they tell? They tell the world that they were threatened, that the people are going to come to their house, right? I'm the only person that brings a crew to people's houses, okay?
True.
I don't know about any other creators that are Bullhorn Betty, but I've never threatened them to come to their house. As a matter of fact, the only thing I said is I'm giving them an olive branch that I'm going to be out there searching for their son, and I would hope that they would come in and participate in the search for their son.
And
but since they took off, I'm going to be up their craw. You know, I'm not physically up their craw, but I'm definitely looking into them deep. I'm looking into their friends, their associates, everything. So I don't know if that was a lie. I don't know if they were trolled by somebody.
I'm just going to say that I didn't go there until June. This was being recorded in March. It wasn't until 3 months later. I never saw them, never called them, never contacted them. I stayed in my car and stayed on public property. And guess what? Because of the corruption in their county, I was arrested for doing my job.
I don't know. But either way, the only person that's being hindered by this is this boy. All this stuff with the United Cajun Navy, them coming in and completely dismantling a good search party, it's affecting him. It's affecting Seth that wants to know what happened to him. I don't know, guys. I'll let you guys be the decider of the United Cajun Navy and what you think about the last people that saw Sebastian Rogers alive. What say you? What say you? Let me just go through here and see what we got for messages. We got a lot of messages. Woo.
Yeah, we're not going to go through comments. That was my show. But I think a lot of important information. You know, we're raising stuff. This was like one of the second main shows that I did on the case. And at this point, you know, this was 10 days later from the first one. We amassed a lot of information in that 10 days about Chris, about Katie, about their neighbors, about their associates, their affiliates, their history, the things that happened to Katie as a whole. You know, we dive into their lives pretty deep. We don't bring it all to the public, but we, as true crime content creators and web sleuths, we go as deep as we can go. And you learn a lot about people by doing that. And one thing that was very notable in that 10 days is that I believe there was a facade. I believe that Katie was the breadwinner. I don't think either one of them would ever been able to afford the house or all the stuff without each other. They got themselves into a situation where they had all this stuff and they needed both of them to pay for it. So with having this tiff and this rift in their marriage, and all of that was, you know, for Sebastian and about Sebastian, it just really paints this picture that he really wasn't wanted or accepted by his mother or his stepfather. His stepfather treated him like pure shit. I've done a lot of things. I was a problem child, okay? Why I did some of the crap I did, it was because I had a messed up home life, you know? And I didn't know how to deal with all those emotions. I mean, I didn't know what it was at the time. If I was as smart as I am now, I could have saved myself a whole host of problems, okay? But you know, you don't know why you do some of the things until you get older, and you have to look back upon it and find out, you know, try to answer those questions. And at the end of the day, it was because, you know, I was dealing with a lot of stuff. So I did things to make myself feel good, like waking up in the middle of the night and stealing my daddy's car, you know, and taking it for a joyride. And taking some bum from one side of the town over to the other. Why? I apparently didn't feel like I was in danger or anything. Like a dumbass, right? And the things that I did when I was younger, and I was not near. I got in trouble. I don't want you thinking my parents let me just go. I was in I got in a lot of trouble for some of the stuff I did. But I wasn't near as much trouble as Sebastian, and I keep looking at him trying to figure out what the hell this child did so bad. I was freaking stealing mommy and daddy's car. I mean, come on. My ass should have been treated probably worse than Sebastian. And I was not. I got my ass whooped, don't get me wrong. And I had to go stay at the Department of Juvenile Detention. And they don't let you get bonded out. You got to stay there for a little while. Okay? I'm just saying. I didn't like it too much. I really did, you know, before I took my mom's car, I really thought highly before I did it and said, you know, if I get caught, I might have to go back there. It didn't change, you know, it didn't change my decision. I still took my mama's car too. I'm just saying. So I didn't get near much trouble as this boy did, right? And Chris is talking about going in there with a garbage can. I'm thinking if my mom or my dad came into my room with a freaking garbage can and started dumping my shit in a garbage, I would lose my stuff. I would want to die, you know? I mean, it would be detrimental to me mentally and physically. I'm sure I would throw a freaking fit. And to think that this happened to Sebastian, and you know, he's autistic and already, you know, it's very traumatic. And I'm thinking it would be traumatic for me, and I'm a normal person. And this is somebody that has to have those things, you know, like those things are comforting items to him. He had his cats taken away from him. He's had his reptiles taken away from him. He's had his lizards taken away from him. Chris and Katie have traumatized Sebastian. Traumatized him. Oh, thank you, Shining Star. And it's upsetting. It's upsetting because I'm a love machine. Sorry, I forgot. I'm like, oh wait, hold on. You know, I just feel bad because we know Sebastian didn't deserve the treatment he got. You know, we hear about how strict Chris is. He never needed to be that strict. Why? What does Sebastian ever do? I mean, usually when parents are strict, it's for a purpose. What was their purpose? He didn't do anything. He didn't go anywhere. He didn't put himself in harm's way with anybody. Like, what was the deal? It just doesn't make sense, folks. I need somebody to make it make sense for me. Not just me, for you too. I mean, we're all sitting here scratching our heads. The only thing I can think of is because, you know, let's face it, they've been trying to get rid of Sebastian for almost 2 years. You know, for at least 14 months. And that's where all those Department of Children and Family Services reports came in that 14 months. It was a hostile environment inside that home. They absolutely had a facade. And the worst part about it is their facade was so good that his biological father, Seth Rogers, had no clue. He had no earthly idea until the day his son was missing. Then he finds out, well, he didn't find out immediately. He had to sue the Department of Children and Family Services to find out what happened to his son. Oh, thank you, Ryzen. Oh, I appreciate that. You're too sweet. You're too sweet. You guys are so sweet. But I gotta tell you, that had to have been more difficult because Seth remembers the one incident, and I'm sure it's gotta probably haunt him. Like, I mean, I can't imagine. My heart breaks. I'm not gonna lie. My heart breaks for Seth. But he refers, I think it was on Pascal, if my memory serves me well. And he said something to the effect of, there was a time when his son didn't want to go home. And he just thought it was normal, you know, being mad at stepfather type stuff, because it does happen, you know, it really does. We have a situation where a father was completely absent on the record for the Department of Children and Family Services. And my problem is I don't see how they could have made that big of a mistake. Because usually when the Department of Children and Family Services are opened, and especially when they're opened by a teacher, which several of these were, that teacher knows darn good and well that he has a mom, a stepfather, and a biological father. So how that was never conveyed to that social worker is where I have a problem, because I'd have to believe that was conveyed, especially if they had any conversation with the school. And then comes the school. If the school knew that Seth was involved in his son's life, and they knew that they had to make a call to the Department of Children and Family Services, why didn't they immediately reach out to Seth to let them know? It wasn't about him or his household. It shouldn't have been a problem, because when the Department of Children and Family Services came to the house, I'm pretty sure they knew that it came because of a call from the school. So it's not like they didn't know, and it's not like it would have upset them. It sounds like everybody knew the school is the one that had a mandatory report, and they had to mandatorily report. Shining Star, you're the best. You're the best. Thank you. Thank you, because I'm a love machine. Aw, thank you. Aw, love for all of you guys, all my little coffee beans. Thank you. They have no clout, no money, no dignity, nothing left but the truth, and a bully. Yep. I agree. They had 50-50 custody rights. And so that's the problem is I just don't understand how everybody left Seth out of this. You know, why the school didn't call him, why the Department of Children. It just seemed like everybody all the way around failed him. And it seemed like, in all fairness, it sounded like Katie was on the three-way the whole time. If I had to bet some real money on this, from the time she called Chris, I bet she was on the phone with him the entire time. She was on the phone. I bet you he never called just Seth. I bet you he called him three-way. I bet you he texted him while he was still on the phone with Katie. I bet you they were still discussing their story and what they were going to say and what they were going to do between the time that they left the message for Seth and the 13 minutes it took them from the time they left the message with Seth to the time they ultimately called law enforcement, which happened to be 33 minutes after. Do you know how long 33 minutes is when you can't find your child that's supposed to be in bed? I have never in my life. And then these parents never really shed a tear or have any type of concern that their child went missing, and not just went missing, but was gone. Even at 30 days, they were still just hollow and cold. Very strange behavior. Very unusual behavior. And I'm sorry, out of all of the people in the world, there is no way in hell you find the two people in this entire world that grieve differently than everybody else. There's no possibility. It's 1 in a billion. It is 1 in a billion. So, anyways, guys, I want to thank you all for coming out, showing me some love. I've been working my rear end off. Oh my goodness. I've been waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Tomorrow's no different. I've been out in this freezing cold weather. I've got to go back to the county tomorrow. Tomorrow is a land use meeting. We're going to be wrestling over a property, and I just know my sleazy, slimy, freaking grubby commissioners are going to side with the stinky villain of a freaking developer. And I'm so sick of it because what they're doing is wrong. It's just wrong. This property that Neil's trying to put out there out east is just wrong. It's just wrong. They're going to destroy nature. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. And I hope the commissioners come to their senses, but we'll find out tomorrow. You know, all I can do is do the best I can do and pray to God that these people start listening to their constituents. That's all I can do. You know, it's all we can do. So tomorrow's another bitter fight. If you're wondering why I'm working myself into the ground and burning my candle at both ends, it's because I have to. You know, things are not working out well here. Okay, and everybody in the county's feeling it. And unfortunately, when everybody in the county starts feeling it, the activists are the people that these people reach out to and start calling, okay? And when they can't get anywhere with the commissioners, then our crap starts blowing up, right? Then they start sending the emails. Then they start reaching out to you on X and Facebook and stuff like that, begging you to please help them with this and please help them with that. And then you start looking under the hood and then you realize everything's not working the way it should be. And people are screwing up in the county. And now you got to start working on firing people. It's a process, right? Because I can't fire the employees until I get people on board with firing the county administrator. Once I get a county administrator out of the way, and we get a national search in with somebody that's unaffiliated with any of the bureaucracy here, then we can start making some cuts. Because I feel like my commissioners don't understand what kind of cuts I'm making. I ain't trying to make the bottom tier cuts. We coming up to the top tier. I want the managers. I want the slimy frickin' swamp cut out of my county. And we've got it. And I know exactly who they are. And those are the jobs I want. Those are the jobs I want. I don't want to take the jobs completely. I just want them out of the jobs. It's time for new blood to be put in. And so that's where today was a rough day. Today was a tough day. Today was we need to come to Jesus day. And so I'll play those things first thing in the morning. We will be live 6 a.m. If you guys are up that early, bring a warm beverage with you. You can watch me in bed. You can watch me on your TV in bed. You can watch me on your phone in bed. But you can't watch me without a hot something tomorrow because it's going to be cold. All right? Going to be cold. All right, guys. Thanks for coming out. I love you. God bless you. Let's not forget, Sebastian Rogers is still missing. He has not been found. He disappeared under his mother's watch. We have to remember every horrible thing that has happened to this young boy has happened under her and Chris's watch. Chris was involved with California and the SA, right? He was living in that house back then too. So everything bad that's happened to this young man has happened by his, under his mom and stepfather's watch. Period. His dad wants to know where the heck he is. We want to bring him home safely, but we realize we're realists. It's been 2 years. It truly will be an act of God for him to come home safely. I don't believe he's out there safe. I believe his mother did something to him, and I believe Chris Proudfoot helped her cover it up. That's what I believe, and nothing so far I have ever found has changed my mind about that yet. So, and I've looked. I just want to make sure everybody knows. I've looked. I gave this case a fair shake, a fair assessment, and at the end of the day, the leads took me where they took me, right to Chris and Katie Proudfoot. All right, guys, we're continuing to go down this trail. We're going to be opening probably tomorrow up with some questions. Maybe I'll open up the phones. It depends on how tired I am when I get here. I expect tomorrow to be a very long and very miserable day. But I am committed to our evening show, so I don't know when we'll have the show, but we will have the show tomorrow about Sebastian Rogers. If you guys would like breaking news cases, update on the riots, Minnesota fraud, all of the breaking news like that, that's first thing in the morning. So if you guys want that kind of news, please be here 6 a.m. Rain or shine, we are going to be here 6 a.m. Whether you see an icon in there or not, I promise you by 6 a.m., we're going live, okay? So be there or be square. Love you guys, and we'll see you in the morning.